What is something you grew up thinking it was totally normal, then later realized that it was actually completely fucked up? I was always in trouble ages 13 to 18, not like just a little trouble, like major trouble all the time. Even when I hadn't done anything yet, I never knew why literally everything I had a thought of doing, like having sex for the first time, or if I wanted to tell my mom I was at someone else's house when I'm really somewhere I'm not supposed to be, and no basic teenager stuff, I would get in major trouble. Even if it was just a thought I had and didn't even do anything yet, my parents always knew. It was literally everything. And I wouldn't just get grounded, it would be screaming matches, taking my door away, emotional abuse. I just figured I was a bad kid, and there was no such thing as hiding anything from my parents, and no such thing as having an ounce of privacy. Fast forward when I was 20 years old and moved out, I decided to sell my laptop I had since a kid and my old phone. Guess what the computer shop found? Nearly 10 years worth of key logging, camera hijacking, screen recording and GPS monitoring data from a spyware, and it was still actively pulling data. My mom took baths and my dad took showers. So for a long time, I thought women took baths and men took showers. One day I babysat a girl who said she had just taken a shower, and I was so confused. Eating garbage junk like fast food for most of my meals. Your parents or family never telling you how much they love you. That trend stopped with me. When my daughter was born, I had never known that you could have this sort of love for a human, and I let her know from day one and continuously. So much so, that when she was 1 and 2 years old, sometimes she would just stop whatever she was doing and come up to me and say, "Dada, I love you and you're my best friend." Just because she was so used to me going out of my way to tell her that constantly, because it was true, kinda makes me wish that my parents loved me as much as I know a parent can love their child. I also think some of it comes from men not being able to show those emotions in earlier generations. I don't give a fuck about being manly. I was wearing princess clothes in public with a toddler daughter because I cared more about one girl than I did about how everyone else would judge me. Smoking, everybody, everywhere, like it was a basic fundamental need to sustain life. That being physically and verbally abused by your drunk father was normal, and that it was something we don't talk about, and that you never had holidays ever. Your parents worked all day and night at their restaurant, and you just come home from school by yourself and heat up dinner, and that you would wander the streets by yourself, your parents having no clue where you are, but you came home at night, but got hit by a car and also molested by a filthy pedo. Okay, some of those I knew were not normal, but in general this whole thing I now realize was domestic abuse, but back then it was just normal, except we don't talk about those things, and they shouldn't have happened. Also, the whole fill in your own day, and you could be dead or alive or anywhere for all your parents knew. I find it weird sometimes how children are constantly supervised or can't go anywhere, but then remember the being hit by the car and the pedo and go, oh yeah, that's why. Being emotionally abused in church, just assumed everyone's church belittled them and called them out on the slightest errors.